Hello and welcome to today's session of the MyLife Open Dev Sessions. I'm Eric Jesperson, President, Co-founder, and Senior Architect here at MyLife. And I'm excited to share more about what AI can do for you and for all of us. So today we're going to continue our scintillating Diary Bot series. Last week, we built our Diary Bot prototype in OpenAI, predominantly to test the type of instructions that might work for the diary specifications we had, and we'll go over those today as well. Our indefatigable volunteer Lakshmi has tested the bot and has some updates to make to the instructions, which makes sense. So this week, we're going to incorporate those changes and assign functionality to our prototype so that it can send summaries of your entries to MyLife, to the MyLife database, to the MyLife platform. Well, before we get into this tech today, which still, even today, requires no traditional computer coding skills, I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you find this valuable or eye-opening or mind-opening. And if you do, I'll invite you now and at the end to help us collaborate on this epic project. I have found this work very rewarding and educational in ways I couldn't have imagined. And I'm ready to share some of that learning and labor, if you will, with you. So MyLife is a 501c3 nonprofit member organization that offers its membership an intelligent platform that helps them tell and preserve their cherished memories, stories, media, and ideas for posterity, and allows them to experience past human narratives. And membership is free to any humans. Our intelligence platform is built by humans for humans. So what is this personal platform that can help capture and share your most cherished nostalgia and ideas and share them with posterity? How is it used? Well, I want to start with just a few of the use cases we've already been building towards with our initial functionality. So for instance, from somebody suffering from memory loss or even just boredom, perhaps living far away from their family, wishing to remember and relive for themselves, cherish memories gone by and then share them with their loved ones. To someone wanting to leave behind their thoughts and emotions for their young children, a time capsule sorts, just growing up in this crazy over-digitalized world that they will inherit. To somebody with a desire to have an on-demand partner in self-reflection and help processing ideas, emotions, and figuring out conclusions about themselves and for themselves. To someone struggling with their identity, perhaps, desiring a private, protected, intelligent space in this way to work through their frustrations and frictions, built by us, for us. We are many and varied in our needs, and so each of our MyLifes will be our own to use, manage, and consent. Now, how do we as the organization do this? Well, we built a headless intelligent platform to allow you to store, protect, and make intelligent your narratives. AI can make anything that's linguistically based intelligent, including abstractions like a story, a memory, an idea. And if for no other reason, this is why AI is not a fad, and it's pretty much how AI will change the world. So I guess let's maybe move from being so expository based to actually showing you the interface. So let's zip back in. I gotta change my share. Let's zip back into the online interface. And won't you believe it, it's not showing up nearby in my list. One second. Chrome, where are you? Am I actually going to have to find them all? Oh my goodness. All right, I will just share my screen for the moment. So this again is our home page. This is the platform identifying itself to the public. What I want to do now is take you behind the scenes. So I am going to log into the system. and I want to talk to you about the various pieces and parts. One second, I do need to stop this. So let me find out where it is. Okay. And just for curiosity's sake, if somebody would respond, are you seeing an instance of my?
Yeah, everything's fine. See the ChatGPT instance. Yep.
Okay. So sorry, now I'm going to take you right back just to where we were in the other screen. So I will add this in, and excellent. So what I want to do is just give you a kind of brief overview of the interface, because this is what you get when you sign up as a member. It's free. Sign up as a member for MyLife. Right now, we are in our pilot phase. So we are taking alpha registrations and compiling them to help us run our first pilot of the technology you're seeing today. So on this screen, the first thing is your MyLife avatar. This is essentially an intelligent version of your account, and you may start seeing many of these on the marketplace, essentially assistants that are bonded to you and can help you run and conduct all sorts of business on your behalf. We at MyLife haven't built this. We've built this out in entirety, even for first draft yet, but it exists, and it is the prime coordinator, controller, and orchestrator of all of your personal information. Now, beneath the avatar, you have a set of teams. A team can be deployed to any purpose. For MyLife's first version, we're focused on a memory team. This memory team can help you collect, curate, and share your memories, and I'll show you how it does that. Relive yet right now. We're actually working on the sharing component of this through the feedback from the alpha. But excuse me. So how it begins is you are given, the MyLife memory team helps you by giving you a biographer. This biographer, you can manage and tune yourself, some of its attitudes and certainly its name. And it can take you, I could ask it, how do I get started? But it knows I've asked it that many a time. So what I want to do instead is show you how it might create a memory. So under this biographer, while the biographer is selected, I wanted to show you the history of my memories. These are discussions that I've had with the biographer and memories or stories that are related to that conversation. So I had just prepared something about today. So if we get lucky, I find that oftentimes giving these Zoom presentations, I don't know if this will happen with StreamYard, but that I run into network issues. So oftentimes the dynamic stuff doesn't work as dynamically as I'd like, perhaps due to a timeout. But so what I'm hoping here, and if it doesn't, I can use an already stored element. What I'm hoping is that Madrigal will, in fact, submit this story to MyLife, and then it should show up in my, okay, looks good. What today is 7:20. Okay. So what Madrigal did for me is while they explained it more fully here, they're creating a set of keywords, categories, and dynamic associations that they read into this. And oh, this is actually not today's, but that's fine. We can use this one. We can even use this here. So it makes a summary, which you saw here, and then posts that to the database along with other elements that other categorized and metadata that it has interpreted. So once you have the story in there, you can edit it per normal. You can just double click and do edits on your own if you don't like what it did. But another option is that once it's selected and active down here in the chat interface at the bottom in yellow, anything, if you make an update to the story, like, well, also, then I started giving the presentation, and it should incorporate, and again, I'm having the Zoom thing I'm a little suspicious of here, but it will incorporate that content into the summary itself. Another way you can interact with your own content is to Now we have these things called shadows that are shown to prompt the member to just kind of think about evolving and improving their memory. Another way one can bolster and improve their memory, we're working on this. This is not a technological issue. Media such as pictures, video, audio that might go along with it. I should also mention right now, it is about for the lack of resources, and to an extent that includes money, but also development resources, to create the audio speech to text version of this. We have a hook for it. We know exactly how to do it right now. It's just a bit costly, and we want to focus on some of these other fundamental correspondences, because essentially under the hood, it's just all of the tools are just I was going to say OCRing, but that's different, are basically just rendering that speech to text. And then that text is sent to these engines. So we would not be any different than that. Okay, sorry for that long-winded sidetrack. Another way that you can also engage with a memory that you've put into the system is to relive it. And this is a more interesting mechanic, and it's going to be the foundation for sharing a memory as well. What the bots are doing in this case is they are taking your summary, or taking the summary of your material, and creating a multi-stage experience, like somebody else was telling this story. They, in 3 parts, the way we've written it thus far, in 3 parts, they unveil the phases of your story when it's long enough, and it will get some things wrong. And in a way, at large, Q&A testing around AI and the types of mistakes it will make, from hallucinations just down to conjecture, like sort of sensible conjecture, have to be incorporated into our testing and QA schemes at large. I laugh inside when we talk about that, I guess outside too, when we talk about this, because here in these summaries and such, we do in a way want to instigate further memory. When it gets something wrong, that's exactly when I should type it in here. And that's going to add detail. It's going to take that content and add detail to the summary, so that therefore the next time it tells the story, it won't make that mistake, because you have self-corrected the content behind the intelligence. So you can either just move on to the next one, the next phase of the storytelling, or you can make alterations that would be incorporated into the summary. And so that's kind of the illustration of the test, of the platform, and what we're going to be testing with the Alpha Pilot program. There are certainly a number of interesting facets to even producing a technology like this, and just as many trying to test it. So let us click over. I am going to do another reshare. That is our, oh boy, we're going to move right beyond this. This is a kind of a burgeoning illustration of our roadmap, what we've created already, and the types of things we intend to build or have already made inroads on. But what I do want to talk about today is the learning objectives for today. One of the things that's really important to understand, and I'm going to explain it now, the MyLife repository is not what I was referring to. There's a link to that, and I'm going to share that in Zoom, etc. It's really this second piece, which is the headless MyLife. What does it mean? What do I mean? I've used that term a lot, both with volunteers and in the tech documents. And what it means for sure is that any front end can connect with it. It's an API first technology. I have happened to develop a front end, which a call out to any UX UI designers clearly needs some assistance, and we could and would use it. So in that way, it is traditionally headless. It means that it itself is an API platform, and any type of front end can connect to it. Well, that's great, but today I'm going to demonstrate what that means, because we're going to use the OpenAI bot that we created last week and connect it to MyLife, so it's essentially functioning as an interface, nowhere near as in quotes, sophisticated as the MyLife platform, but it'll show you how you could develop your own tools with no code, so long as well, you'll see. So long as you're following a couple of functional structures, which are mostly copying and pasting, which are pretty much all copying and pasting, then you can have your own personal interface to the MyLife database. Okay, and your MyLife account. So that's what I mean very specifically when I say headless here, that we're going to be able to demonstrate to you today that we could use OpenAI GPT as an interface, which has a public face to the world. So it's free and open, and anyone could use it for any length of time, which in a way, from a pricing model, helps us out a little bit. But we'll not get into that today. I do want to mention here that when I'm talking about headless, there's another piece of it. The future is unlikely to be different from a smart or intelligent API service connecting to an intelligent or smart client. It's not going to be an empty browser in the near future. It's going to be AI and intelligent platform talking to AI intelligent client directly, human operated behind this avatar. And your member avatar that you get with MyLife is literally one example of this. It is an intelligent client. It happens to be that its only service that it can attach to is MyLife for now. So we're going to review elements of static knowledge, which essentially are the instruction sets and any files that go behind a GPT. But we're also going to investigate this dynamic solution where we incorporate these pre-built MyLife actions. So again, just very quickly, we're defining static knowledge with unnecessary 3D here as the instruction sets that would go, or few prompt engineering, depending on what sort of model we're using. We use OpenAI GPTs under the hood. I think they call it something else, but they're these same agents. So they come with a capacity to set instructions, files, and references in those instructions to the files. And there's no coding necessary for that sort of work. Then now today we're moving into this dynamic knowledge where that GPT, that what we built in phase 1 of the static knowledge, is now an intelligence that can reach out and conduct business or perform functions on other systems, in our case, MyLife. And interactive knowledge is where MyLife adds another layer, another wrapper of facility and on-demand personalization and privatization inside its frame, and that we're calling interactive knowledge inside the platform, not frame. That generally requires some competent coding skills. So like I say today, we'll touch on minimal coding skills and dynamic knowledge as we have these schemas, but we are going to again address the static knowledge side of this. So, all right, let us move over to the main issue that we were working on last week. And that was develop a diary bot. I will go ahead and put that link into Zoom. I will start putting a few of these links into Zoom. So keep that here. All right. Now, let me screen share the correct. Okay. What I hope you're seeing now and should be seeing is just a browser based. Most of the work that we're going to be doing right now is going to just be conducted in the browser. So the diary bot put together last week, based on a use case that we divined about a young student in their late teens who is basically investigating their own identity. And that is something they want to do in a private, personal sphere, but can imagine themselves at some point sharing that information with themselves or with others later. Now, we came through a list of specifications that we want to have available based on that use case in our product. So this diary bot is going to be part of the vanilla product once we're done. So in other words, anyone can have a vanilla-based. Anyone can have, who is a member, will have access to this diary bot functionality. Okay, so let us take a quick look. Last week, where we got to was we put together a prototype of the diary bot, and we did that through a set of unique instructions that were based on the functionality we'd seen. So let me share with you, this is just the markdown. Oh, those were the actual instructions. And then here are the instructions. So these were the instructions we took from the biographer bot. And here are the instructions that we actually have placed inside the initial prototype of the diary bot. And so once we had, we're from the diary bot prototype, as I said, our excellent volunteer, Lakshmi, went through and identified the elements that needed to be fixed inside of those instructions in order for it to be more effective. So that leads us to today's session, where we're going to ensure that the improvements are in the system, and we're going to connect it to the system. All right, so inside of, so what we're doing now is, this is the prototype that we put together last week with updates already made, but I'm going to walk you through them. So let's take a look. That doesn't mean that all problems have been solved necessarily, but that we have added the basic functionality necessary to accomplish what Lakshmi had found was working inside the previous prototype. So a lot of this language will be the same, but there are a couple things that I want to point out. I limited, because it now goes through a different process, literally, instead of just printing it to the screen, which is what our previous instruction set had asked it to do. It's going to now send its summary and content to MyLife itself. So how do we do that? Well, we have a two-step process. The getting started is important. It has to validate against our MyLife system. So I will walk you through how that all works, but let's just comprehend and understand that not only must the GPT, the MyLife Diary Bot prototype, be known to the whatever MyLife system is running, whatever platform version is running, it must also ensure that there's some level of validation between the member and the MyLife system itself, so that the member is validating themselves, and that the entries that you make with the diary bot will go to the correct destination. Now, in these, we have some very specific instructions. For privacy reasons, we say we need to include this data, which is true. And then I start taking the instruction set that we had last week and start rearranging it. So now it's going to be asking itself to run certain functions. As you see here, I run the function myKeyValidation. I will show you where that is defined. It is not in the instruction set, but it's from this menu. I'll show you in a moment. So similarly, this had to be fixed. I had 5 or 6 exchanges. Lakshmi was finding that no way. It decided it was never sending in the entries, so we made this adjustment. Is that perfect? Well, no, but that's why it's not necessarily perfect for you. It may not be perfect for a vanilla version. We're going to test it, and this is how we test it, and this is where we put the instructions. So then, in that kind of exchange, we then tell the system that they are they're running MyLife save entry function, again, which is defined elsewhere, which I'll show you. And a couple extra decisions which we took from the original content, which was summaries should not use proper names, and we ask it that relationships be generic. And member content flagging was working, so I leave that here. Although this is actually a build for next week, but that's okay. We'll test it and we'll find out exactly what I expect to happens. But data and privacy and security, it was reflecting that as well. So that's now the full package of our instruction set. But as you can see, it's referencing not files, but it's referencing a set of functions so that it needs to know about. So this is how we dynamize and really begin to make functional these sorts of bots. You could tune this diary bot to be very sarcastic, as an example, and that could be your diary. That's the only way you ever want to hear it, or you want to have control over changing its tenor, its attitude, or how often it prints an entry to the database. Because once you have this functionality attached to your bot, it can extend to MyLife. Okay. So let's take a look at how this works. The first thing you need to do, as I said, the GPT itself needs to be known to the MyLife system. That is done through a unique handshake. There's under the hood token validation. So what you would need to do, and I will show you some of this later, but the point is we would provide this to you if you were working on a ticket or wanted to make your own MyLife diary bot. But one of these key tokens would be generated and assigned, and that's how OpenAI connects with our servers to establish a trusted and certain connection. So after that, it basically requires, and this is the type of thing for those with no code, you would paste in. This is where we identify the functions inside of the MyLife intelligent platform that can be called and how they should be called. This specification is what it is, was developed by OpenAI itself. So that's why it's in this particular format. We are describing for the GPT bot, we are describing for the MyLife diary bot, in this case, how to talk to MyLife in a sensible and semi-intelligent manner. So what we've done is we have an endpoint, an API endpoint on the MyLife system side that already exists. So this functionality is just copy and pasted. Key validation and how that key validation is supposed to function and what the data points look like. Similarly, we have a number of functions that are open and available to various engines. One of them, because I did a journal bot first for me, and there is a journal, not part of the alpha, but we do have a journal bot, kind of half-done journal bot. In fact, the diary bot will be more sophisticated than the journal bot when we're done. But I still nonetheless had an entry endpoint for this. So nothing needed to be dealt with here. We were using the same form of information. This is an entry. It's a diary entry, not a journal entry. So we changed the form is the field in the database. We changed the form, but that is all described inside the endpoint. So this whole enchilada is essentially copy and paste, unless you need to extend it to new functionality, which does not exist inside the MyLife API at this point in time. Of course, comments, feedback, suggestions, we're always welcome for it. Inspiration is always something we enjoy engaging with. So give us great ideas on the types of things we should expose. Okay. So anyway, the MyLife key validation, these functions that are expressed in here are, thankfully, this is a relatively semi-new offering, I think, or it didn't look quite the same, where you can just test these various elements. If I were to tell it to just test the key validation, it won't work because it has no idea what a correct key looks like. So all it's going to get back is false anyway. The same with the entries. So I would at this point begin to converse with the preview on the right-hand side. So I will just ask it for No, I won't because I am going slow on time. We're almost there, but still. So the question, what I want to do here is test these things for real. Now, I can't do that on screen because even though it's a test account, I would be using a test account member ID. But the point is that it will basically, we test it here and we would say something like, my member ID is, and then I will pause sharing. I wonder if that works. Like, yeah, let's find out. I mean, should this get revealed? I mean, heck, it's just a test account, so I'll live. But I've been having fun with it. We don't generally have intentional fake accounts inside of MyLife. It's for humans only. All right, so maybe what I can do here. Okay, so uh, just going to push some stuff off the screen, and then I'm going to resume my share. So we'll find better ways to do this over time. Welcome back, Flip. So Flip is in fact the member that was validated. So I typed in my key, it sent that key to the system. Now I can also ask it, I can run now, create a test entry for me called no day like today. And so hope and submit it. Great. Yeah. And save it in my life. Okay. So yeah, well, so what it's doing now is it's talking to MyLife. It's creating in its own menu. It's creating a story. Okay, so it tells me that my story has been successfully saved. What I'm going to do behind the scenes, which you may not see, is look at the logs on MyLife to ensure that an entry was submitted. And it was, and I will gather the data to show you. So now what I'm doing, just the verbal illustration. I hope this isn't happening on screen or else, hey. Poor Flip. Okay, so yeah, it's the, I'll just copy into Notepad, and then I'll share some of the things that it got. Okay. In fact, I think most of this I could just, for ease right now, put into the GPT. So this was actually the content that it just made this up. I caught up with a friend, blah, blah, blah. It literally made this up. But this was copied and pasted from MyLife. And you can even, if you want to, I don't, because then I'd expose that data again. But this area where it says talked to MyLife, anyone, that will appear even on a non-preview screen like this, and you'll be able to see what data it sent. That's again an OpenAI facility. So if we were to give you this function just on the left-hand side, I'm going to complete this off now, which is that if you need to put up a privacy policy, if you're offering your own suite of services that connects to MyLife on the back end, obviously we would want to talk to you and have you be an ecosystem partner, but you would put up your own privacy page. But we do have a privacy policy page, and this is required to run the functionality, just so that people understand how data is being used, et cetera, et cetera. So that is how we have now fully encouraged this diary bot to talk with MyLife. So now it's a fully fledged diary bot. I'm not going to make any of these updates only because they were already in there, but now we have a full-fledged MyLife diary bot. So if you want to become a member of MyLife, then you could create your own diary bot or clone what we have here. We could work with you to get the authentication codes, and we would work with you to get the schemas, but you would not need to know literally nothing we went through today, although it relies on code on the MyLife system, on the MyLife intelligent platform side of things. no code on your part. If you wanted to tweak or configure the diary bot specifically to your liking, or feel like you would want to offer that to someone else, or back to MyLife and have that be a part of the vanilla offerings that we provide. So I guess that kind of gets us into a little bit of what we need now and where we're hoping to go with this. So let me just jump back to the PowerPoint, which now has failed to be on Zoom. So we'll give you the old school version where you get to see the wrapper. If you've never been behind the scenes on PowerPoint, there's nothing like it. Our immediate challenges. We are a nonprofit volunteer organization right now. And so you see as our second perennial bucket here, fundraising. We are trying to find a team that can help us we're putting together a team who can function as an executive directorship to help us grow to the next stage, because we do need to get some fundraising and we do in place, and we do need resources. And volunteer resources are great, and there's a lot we can offer, because once you open a ticket on MyLife, it's a public project. So if you're looking for employment and you want to brush up your skills, you want to learn a little about AI, we are absolutely here for that. Whether you're UI, whether you're UX, whether you're server side, whether you're a data person, we have tickets, and we have a system where we could use your expertise. There are a couple specific things we're looking for kind of in the immediate. I'm looking for some help with these open dev sessions and some assistance with that. I'm told I'm a delight to work with, but I work for myself. We need security experts. We need UI, UX experts. I think that's self-evident when you see the platform as it stands right now. This is just our draft look and feel, and because it's all greenfield, we expect and hope that we will get participation to rebuild that. Because we need help with our socio-market penetration, please follow us on LinkedIn especially. LinkedIn especially is where we really want to provide our primary presence. We are a serious organization, and we have serious opportunity to offer. So LinkedIn is going to be our primary presence, and this way we can even do these webinars from that account, and we can work in LinkedIn Live with that. We also need alpha pilot applicants. So we anticipate that we can run the full alpha pilot with 100 individuals. So we have lots of slots left, 60 slots left about, for pilot applicants. How do you apply? Okay, go to our homepage, which is the humanremembranceproject.org. It is not mylife.org. We think we know who owns it, but humanremembranceproject.org, where you will see Q, and you will just tell Q to register me. And at that point, the registrations will come through, and we will send out a link that allows you to self-register, finish your account from there. And so I want to thank you. I want to really especially want to thank the volunteers who have brought MyLife to this point, and it's exhilarating and scary and all that stuff. But this week, special thanks go out to Steve, Sheila, Mark, Avani, Lakshmi, Russ, Todd Nilsson. Okay, see, this is where I had it. Todd Nilsson from Clock Tower Advisors, Diane Tarsis from the Startup Distillery, and all of our ED candidates thus far. I mean, wow, I am credulous in the face of the talent that we have working with us, and including everyone I just mentioned. So that's it for today. Next session will be week 3 of the Diary Bot series. Please fetch my carriage, where we write new API. I remember in the specifications, there's a Diary Bot piece. I need to obscure relationships potentially. So that might be what we work on, but either way, that would be a functionality that MyLife doesn't currently have, that we're going to introduce to be available to both the Diary Bot prototype on OpenAI and the Diary Bot that's going to emerge inside of MyLife. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope to see you again. Cheers.